I want to show you exactly how we took one of our clients in under 12 months from $70,000 a month to over $208,000 a month, and they're now on track to make about $2.5 million over the next 12 months. I'll be breaking down in this video the exact process that we took them to get them to this level and throw in a testimonial of the client itself after having gone through this transformation. Now, if you're new to the channel, you know who I am. My name is Justin, and I'm the founder at paidadvertising.com, an online marketing growth firm specializing in elevating thriving D2C brands by simplifying e-commerce ads. With that being said, we profitably spend over $9.6 million a year on ads across all of our clients, and let's get straight into today's video breakdown. So I am now on the client's Shopify right here, and I mean I'm happy to refresh right here and show you that this is indeed real. This is the last 30 days on one of their 2 stores. Essentially, you can see, by the way, there's no like draft orders or any of that sort. This is literally all online right here. So this is one of their 2 stores. So right now, $158,000 on this store. And the second one right here, if I go back and refresh that one too, last 30 days did about $48,900 generated right there. All again here, online store and such is where those sales are coming from. So that said, this client has 2 Shopify stores because they're selling across 2 markets. They're selling in the US and in Australia, which again, it kind of creates the split Shopify from a fulfillment perspective. And let me show you, this was them about a year ago, right? We started working with them at the start of August of 2023. So if I go right here, actually, I show you the month right before starting to work together, and I do the same thing here on the other store. You're going to see that we have right here $32,000 on this store and $38,000 on this other store, putting us at about $70,000 generated in a 30-day window. Now, obviously, this wasn't all smooth sailing. There's been bumps on the road. There's been, trials and triumphs over the last 12 months, which I really want to unveil all of this with you today. But before I do so, here are a couple words that the client had to say about his experience working with us.
I think you guys are doing a great job. Awesome comeback, by the way. I think that definitely great work there. I mean, after May, I was pretty stressed. So I think July and August have been really good. So glad we could fix things, and not only fix things, but I think we've done like a great job. I think August was exceptional, right? So yeah, hope it keeps going strong.
So now that you watch this testimonial, I quickly want to show you this Slack exchange that we've had with the client. This was our media buyer just announcing to the client that only on the AU market, we've cracked 7K a day out there. So we send them like the reporting about 10-minute video sent to them every Monday, and also every Thursday we send them a text update. Client was like, it's great news, Tula. Definitely going to strain operational capital, but I'll figure it out because again, we're scaling so fast. Orders have to come out on the back end. So he had to order more stock. Love the enthusiasm in your updates at the start of the week. Just made my day, especially when the performance is banging. And now if we're putting aside those kind of words and going back to the case study at hand, if we show the total revenue generated since working with this client, which is basically as of August 2023 up until now, we have on one store 1.1 million, on the other store about $688,000. So give or take, I'm going to round it up to 700 grand, which puts us at about 1.8 million. And right now, if we keep going at the pace that we are, we're on track to do about 2.5 million again as a run rate. So with that being said, you can see that there's obviously been ups and downs in working together. You can see that by the revenue curve that, we started working up together in a straight line and then kind of went in a decline for a couple of months and then really picked things back up as of May this year. Whereas that store, kind of the same thing, ups and downs and then a down. So I'll explain why that is. So first and foremost, now let me switch over to the ad account. So I am now on their ad account. They've got 2 ad accounts, which I'm about to share with you here. Let me refresh also this one. For anybody who may or may not be skeptical right here, this is the maximum amount of time on this ad account, which is from middle of July last year all the way to September. There's about $226,000 in ad spend right here that we have on this account. Yeah, I'm going to scroll down because there's a few accounts that do not have the PA, or a few campaigns, I should say, that do not have the PA tags. Everything that has been PA up has been launched by our team. So I'm just going to go ahead and select these campaigns so that we can actually see the ROAS. So if I go filter by ROAS selections, you're going to see now $215,000. So give or take, there's about only 10 grand on the account that wasn't attributed to us. So 215 grand in ad spend here on Facebook for 2.77 platform reported ROAS right here. Now, if I show you the second ad account, which has always been us in itself. I can actually just change my columns right here and bring up ROAS for you to see. So let me bring up the ROAS right here. 3.21 on this other account, only $24,000 in ad spend. Obviously maximum says 2021, but I could show you. I mean, I'm just going to go last 14 days right here, and I'm going to go all the way back since last year. So August to now, and you're going to see this is all of the ad spend on this account in itself. So 24,000, 3.21 ROAS on this second Facebook account, which is managed by our team. Now, if I show you Triplewell, because we're also managing their TikTok account, now you're going to say, Justin, why haven't you showed me Triplewell for Facebook? Well, that's because, again, they have two separate shops. And on our Facebook ad account, just like on the Google ad account, which I'm also going to show you in a second, we're actually running ads on those same accounts for two different markets with an auto redirect on the website, which doesn't track accurately on Triplewell. Whereas TikTok, we're only running ads to their US store with it. And that way, with Triplewell, we can see 100% accurate attribution with it. So if I look into Triplewell for TikTok in itself, since starting to work together on TikTok, so we only started TikTok ads as of the month, I think it was like the 19th or so of October 2023, all the way up until today, $38,000 in ad spend for about $136,000 in purchase conversion value, so 3.53 average ROAS on TikTok. Now, last but not least, let's switch over to Google Ads, which I'm not going to claim the entirety of our partnership on Google Ads because it's not the case. We only ran Google Ads for a certain period of time that we started working with this client. More so from about October to May is when we took care of their Google Ad account. In that time period, we spent about $83,000 on ads. We got a 3.19 ROAS on there. And if I show you the revenue, that puts us at about $266,000 in purchase conversion value generated from Google, or at least attributed back to it. So now that we've covered the actual results that we got, I want to break down the strategy that led to that. Because if I now show you this frame folder, which has tons and tons of concepts, I could scroll down and scroll down and scroll down and scroll down right here. We produced hundreds of ad concepts for this client. In total, in the last year, we produced 183 unique concepts, each with 3 variations, and that doesn't count some of the iterations that we've made. So all in all, in terms of new concepts with counting the variations, we made about 549 creatives in the last 12 months. Again, 183 concepts. If we only count the new concepts in itself, that puts us at about 15 concepts or so a month. So give or take 4 a week or so, 3 to 4 a week in terms of an average. And I think a lot of agencies just shoot blanks. They go for a creative volume approach without trying to really understand what they are creating behind those ad creatives. Like, what's the true messaging behind those given ad creatives? And I want to show you exactly what's our campaign structure and also what's our creative structure in this video, because I really feel like this is what did the trick for this account. This is really what helped them scale to this level. So now, although we have a couple of campaigns live, if I go, let's say, last 30 days right here to make this a little easier to follow, and I'm going to go campaigns that had delivery right here, we have about, I mean, these 2 campaigns don't count, so let me just delete those. We have 9 campaigns that had delivery in the last 30 days. One of them was a Labor Day campaign. One of them is a campaign specific to the UK. One of them is a campaign specific to the US. And all the other ones are doing slight testing in the Australian and New Zealand market. So with that being said, we're testing a couple different structures on this account, like Advantage Plus campaigns and also our manual dynamic creative testing campaigns, which is really where I'm going to focus today. Typically, we like to keep our ad accounts as simple as possible. We have 1 campaign per country, market, region, product, and or landing page or destination test. So in this case, obviously as an example, in the Australian market, you're going to see a couple different campaigns. Why? Well, some of them are on a DCT structure. Others are on our Advantage Plus campaign structure. Others essentially are limited time campaigns that we're running. And then finally, we're doing a target ROAS test actually right now to see whether or not that's going to beat our typical CBO campaigns. So that kind of gives you a gist of the type of campaigns that we're running. But again, as simple as possible is 1 campaign per product, country, and or region. So after we're going to be done with all of these tests, we're currently doing it right now, we will be able to get this back down to about 4 campaigns, I believe, which is going to be 1 for the UK, 1 for the US, and 2 for the Australian market, since Advantage Plus campaigns and our DCT campaign are working great in the Australian market. So again, we're going to go back down to 4 campaigns very soon. Now, I think an Advantage Plus campaign is quite self-explanatory, so I'm not really going to go into that. I'm going to show you what a DCT campaign does look like. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go right here. I'm going to go by amount spent. I'm going to filter them by which one spent the most and pick this one. So right here's an example. This one spent about $7,000 in the last 30 days or so. So let me open this one up. So if I scroll down to the campaign level in itself, you can see we're using a CBO budget. Right now, we dropped the budget a little bit over the last few days. So $150 a day as of right now on this campaign, but nothing too crazy. Just a typical CBO campaign where the magic happens is actually at the ad set level. So if I click on the ad set right here, we're using website as the conversion location. We're optimizing for purchases always. Now, this client still has dynamic creative testing. You can see it right here. Facebook has been telling us for a couple of weeks, dynamic creative testing is soon going to be going away. I'll show you how we're adapting to dynamic creative testing going away. But nonetheless, right now, I have to show you how a DCT works because that is the structure that we've been using on this account. Nonetheless, everything I'm showing you today, even though DCTs are going away, is still applicable with our new campaign structure, which again, I'll bring up in a little bit with you. If I scroll down right here in terms of audience controls, you can see it's incredibly simple. We have not even set an age. We have not even set a specific gender. It's all languages. It's all Australia. It's all New Zealand. We always go as broad as we possibly can be. It doesn't mean we're always going to go with no age or gender restrictions. Sometimes for specific clients that have very specific restrictions or a product, we might select a specific age range or a specific gender in itself. But typically, we're seeing that these products or Facebook is automatically going to attribute spend to the right demographic. I'll show you that in a second. So right now, we're going to Australia, New Zealand, broad. And if I keep scrolling down, you're going to see 18 to 65, or sorry, mistake right here. Woman is what we've limited in terms of the gender right there. So again, I do want to rectify what I was about to say right here. Woman is what we've put in for that client. But again, you'd be surprised on some accounts. Sometimes we don't even put gender and Facebook allocates spend to the right gender by default. So the way that we have our ad set is typically, or the way we have those campaigns, I should say, is we have campaign, we use a CBO. So the budget is automatically distributed across the right ads. And then we have one concept per ad set. So you can see in our naming convention, we have client name, DCT 163. So this is the 163rd creative that we've produced for that client. Now, if I go to the ad level, you're going to see the ad level is literally named the exact same thing. Why? Because that concept, there's only one ad under this ad set in itself. So if I scroll down, the way it looks like is like this. This in this case is a video. We have 3 assets. As you can see, they're all 34 seconds. The only difference is the hook. They have a slightly different hook on all 3 of these videos. Now we have 2 pieces of copy, one new one best performing one. We have 2 headlines, one new one best performing one. And then we direct people to a given website. And that puts all the pressure in our ad account at the creative level. We don't bother worrying about ad set testing or about worrying about the right audiences or am I targeting like the right interest or the right lookalikes or is my campaign structure properly done? Forget about any of that. This is very futile. We live in a day and age where media buying is, I wouldn't call it dead, but about to be. Like seriously, what you should be focusing on 99% of your effort really is on the creative side. Creative is the new targeting, right? So with that being said, the way that we build our campaign is we let Facebook allocate the budget across our different creatives. We do testing and scaling within the same campaign. And if a concept works, all we do is we let the ad set live. If a concept doesn't work, and I'll try and find you one that doesn't work right here. If I kind of scroll through a few right here and click on them, there you go. We just turn off the ad set. So we don't kill at the ad level. We only kill at the ad set level. Creative doesn't work. Great. We're going to kill the ad set. Creative works. We're going to let the ad set live. And we're going to look at the total campaign budget or the total campaign performance, I should say. So we're going to go back here, look at the campaign, look at it on the last 3 days, last 7 days, and last 14 days, and then make budget decisions from there. Should we scale, lower the budget, or maintain based on a 3, 7, and 14-day perspective? So now that we've gone through the actual campaign and ad account structure, if we look into soft metrics like click-through rates, well, we're above average, or at least the averages that we try and aim for at the agency. So for us, when it comes to creative stats, so click-through rate more specifically, we like to have a click-through rate all anywhere between 2 to 3% or more, and an outbound click-through rate, so meaning people that click to go to the website in itself, to be at 1% or more. So right here, we're at 2.4% for click-through rate all, so above our 2% average, and then 1.1% outbound click-through rate, so above our 1% target in itself. And now if I look through Atrio, which we often use for creative analysis, there's a link to them in the description down below, by the way. For this ad account, by the way, as you can see, we're using a lot more videos. Like, you look at the ad spend that we have on videos versus photos. It's about 85%. I mean, it's more than an 80-20 split, definitely. It's like a 90-10 split, more so around videos to photos. And that depends. If you tell me, Justin, does that mean that after watching that, I should switch my entire account only to videos? Not necessarily. Like, if I look into all of our clients at the agency, we have a 50-50 split in terms of accounts that have more statics versus more videos. And it depends. Some accounts, for some reason, videos just perform a lot better. So therefore, we go more with this creative style. So this is one of our strongest hook-based account. Why? They are selling sexual healthcare products for women. So if I look into it, our thumb stop ratio, our hook rate, is through the roof for this account's creatives. Like, look at this: 40%, 40%, 39%, 38%, 38%, 37%. If you're advertising, you know that these numbers are very high. Like, a typical good hook rate is about 25%. Like, if you can hook 1 out of 4 people who sees your ad, that's great. What this percentage means is that roughly 1 out of 2 or 2 out of 5 people that see your ad stop and watch the hook, which is a significant portion of people. Those are all people that we can then retarget later on because they viewed part of our video ads. So again, I just wanted to highlight that right here and say that I believe because of the nature of the product, we've been able to do very provocative hooks in a video like this one, which hooks people in once again. So now the question is, well, Justin, okay, you've shown the ad account structure. Now you've showed you have strong hooks. Your soft metrics look great. Now, what is your creative process? Good question. So I'm going to scroll through a little bit this sheet right here, which is where we keep track of all the creatives made for a client. This is all the ones made for the Australian market, and I have a separate sheet for all the ones we've made for the US market. Every creative that we make, and this is an older version of our newly adapted sheet. I'll show you the new version in a second. We keep track of all the fundamental pillars behind an ad. We use a method at paidadvertising.com that we call fundamental analysis. This is our proprietary system that we coined the agency about 1.5 years ago, which the way it looks like is this. When we make an ad concept, those are all the variables that we keep track of on our side. We give the concept a name or a batch number, like what you've seen on the ads manager, like DCT 163 as an example. Now on our side, we're able to label, okay, that concept, what is the product that we are advertising with this concept? Perfect. Now, what is the actual market desire right here? So market desire is usually an I want to statement. Forget about what is here. Those are all placeholders as of right now. They're I want to statement. So I want to feel more confident in my own skin. I want to impress the neighbors or whatever it is. Like, what is the true desire? In other words, the what are we talking about in the ad? So what is right here? What is the ad about? Now the who, the persona this ad is made for. What age are they? Where do they live? What do they do on a day-to-day basis? What solutions have they tried and failed at before? All of this is identified. We have a sheet, if you can see at the bottom, that says persona right here. So that sheet, persona, is where we fill in all the information about this said persona. Gender, age group, company's mission, so on and so forth. Like, if we go into that persona, belief about themselves, what is the process we want to achieve in society, and a bunch more. So we're going to give this persona a name, and then in our tracking sheet, we're actually just going to put in the name of that said persona. So that way we have that right here. Then we have the product benefit, then the awareness level. So how aware is that prospect of the product that you're trying to sell them? So in other words, how are you speaking to them? So again, we have the what you're speaking to them about, who you're speaking to, and how you are speaking to them, and many more variables right here that we keep track of. That way, if one of our concepts becomes a winner, it becomes incredibly easy for us to iterate and create more winners. So as soon as we find one winning concept, we'll go and follow the 80-20 rule. 80% of our new creative efforts will be spent on iteration, so making more variations of our winners, and 20% on making completely new, far right, brand new concept ideas. So if I show you this client's sheet right here as an example, what we track is a metric called hit rate. So that means how many ads or how many concepts we've launched on their account versus how many of them became winners. Right here, we have a 32% hit rate. This is one of our highest account hit rate at the agency, which means, in other words, 1 out of 3 ads that we launch on this account sustains a high amount of ad spend for a long period of time above KPI, which is very, very good. What does that tell us? It tells us, well, if we want to scale, we roughly know how many new creatives we're going to need to produce on our side in order to sustain this increase in ad spend. What we try and do is we try and have our accounts at about 20% or so as an average. This account is definitely above average at about 32% hit rate, which means our creatives just stick faster. Again, going back to the point at the start of the video, although we've been making 15 to 16 new concepts a month for this client, not counting all the variations that we're making, this in itself is like, this is calculated. We're making this amount of concepts because we know that 1 out of 3 is going to hit, and therefore we know that following this logic, about 4 to 5 new concepts that we launch on a given month are going to become new winners. And this is one of our very few accounts where if we go into their ads library, they have like 94 live ads right now on their account. And you'd be surprised, like sometimes I see some accounts of competitors that have like hundreds of ads running, and I just know for a fact they're wasting budget because they're spreading themselves too thin with the budget they have. This account, it's like a very significant portion of these 94 ads, they're still getting ad spend attributed to them, and they're actively converting above KPI, which is very, very rare that we're able to get this many winning ads on an account. And that creates what I call an anti-fragile base. We can scale feeling a hell of a lot more confident. We know that on a given month, we're not just putting all of our eggs within the same basket and spending only on winners. No, we're still doing about 20% creative testing at any given point with completely far right new concepts and new ideas, new content creators, new scripts that we haven't tested at all before. So we know that we're finding new winners all the time. And therefore, I don't care if an old winner starts falling down now. I'm not worried about it because my creative process is, number one, dialed in. I know all the metrics behind my creatives. So I can look back through past winners and easily arrange those same pillars and fundamentals together to make new winning creatives in the future. And like, if I show you, this is our internal creative pipeline, like I can show you this client has 9 plus 5 plus 9 right here. We literally have 18 plus 5. We have 23 active concepts being worked on and edited by our editing team. We try days, if not weeks in advance at time to prepare some of these campaigns. Some of those are working with content creators. So like anything that is tagged UGC, we're actively working with content creators. Therefore, there's always a little bit of delay. So we're usually weeks in advance in terms of our pipeline right here. But it just goes to show you a big proponent of this client success is just not only the amount of creatives that we've done, but the quality of these creatives, the fundamentals behind these creatives. Therefore, why I call it fundamental analysis when building an ad. Because look, this is done right now from scratch, meaning we built all those creatives from scratch using all these pillars shown to you. And then now we're at like 180 plus creatives made for this client in the last year or so, 180 plus concepts, I should say, right? Which is different than just unique creatives made. And someone like you who might be listening to that and saying, well, Justin, I don't have as much ads that I've made so far. So like, how do I know if they're winners or whatever? Like, I've never done this process so far. You can reverse engineer it. Either go through your own current ad creatives and try and extract all of those pillars I shared with you today into a Google sheet like this, and therefore understand why your current winners are winning. And if you're like, well, Justin, I'm not even running ads right now and I'm about to start running ads, what do I do? Well, go through ad libraries of competitors, filter their ads by the longest running ads, which chances are, if they're still active, it must mean that they're being profitable, or at least they're getting them some decent results. And do the same, reverse engineer their ads and take note of them in a Google sheet. And now you'll be left with all the pillars as to why an ad is winning, which what you've done just now is fundamental analysis. And so on a given month for this client, we're spending anywhere between $40 to $60,000 on ads. Whereas we've got clients on the low end with which we spend about $10,000 a month on ads at the agency. And on the high end, we've got brands like these, which we've worked last year, where we're spending about $200,000 a month on ads, getting them almost $1 million back, $781,000 from Facebook ads, not counting the Google and TikTok that we've also consulted this brand with, which gives you kind of a range for what type of brands the strategy works for. In other words, it works if you're making 10 grand a month or spending 10 grand a month on ads, it'll work for you. If you want to make $1 million a month back in revenue, that also works for you. So it can accompany you. Would you be at 6-figure, 7-figure, or 8-figure as a brand? And I do want to highlight this last point. We've talked a lot with that client about the importance of offer, of conversion rate, did some consulting with it, even built a landing page for them over the summer. Now, looking into the conversion rate of their store, one thing that you should take note when you want to scale or before you start pumping ad spend, and this is one of the reasons that, over the summer, we really tried and found ourselves through the offer, creative, landing page and such. Like, we did a bunch of tests over that summer period, which is really what led us to start slowly going down. I'll explain also some of the other pitfalls that we faced. Shopify Health Score is something incredibly important that you need to optimize for with your business. How do you calculate that? Average order value times conversion rate. So in other words, $82 times, going back right here, 4.64, which goes 380. I am telling you this, all of our best case studies at paidadvertising.com are with clients who had a Shopify health score of 150 or more. So do the math right now if you're watching this video. If you are below 150, you need CRO work. You need to rework your offer. You need to change either your product market fit, change your add to cart process, build a landing page, whatever it is, you need some CRO or landing page or website work that is either website related or offer related or both, perhaps. And that is one of the most common points against amongst our successful clients is they have a 150 or more, or we've helped them work their way up to 150 or more Shopify health score. And you'll find that very interesting because look at this. Australian market, US market. Australian market, US market. It is not the same. 57 here, 2% there. Same website, same theme, same products, two markets, completely different stats, which is why. Look at the revenue here, look at the revenue there. What we've decided with the client is at the start of the year, we're like, is there any reason why historically you guys have spent more money in the US than in Australia? He was like, well, I just always was under the impression that the US was more scalable. I'm like, well, naturally it probably is. There's more people, it's a bigger market. But I'm like, if I look into your Shopify, you have a much healthier store in Australia. Would you be opposed to us testing for a little bit to spend more in the Australian market, reduce the budget in the US, so that way like we're not gonna put you out of pocket if this test doesn't work? So we spend more in Australia and we reduced a little bit the ad spend in the US. He was like, yeah, sure, go for it. And it led to this. It led exactly to what you're seeing on screen right now. Like we've significantly dropped ad spend and therefore revenue in the US, but significantly increased ad spend and therefore revenue in the Australian market. And because of the back end of that store, we are in a much more profitable state. This client is currently operating at about a 4x blended ROAS, meaning total revenue divided by total ad spend is give or take about 4x, which for them at that scale is very profitable. So I do know that is the importance of market testing too, which sometimes the same idea and concept you have implemented in a completely different country or market might work better. Not because you've changed the site, not because you've changed anything but the market. So if I recap everything showed in this video, we've helped this brand go from $70,000 a month to over $210,000 a month in the last 12 to 13 months of working together. Now they're on track to crack $2.5 million a year in run rate as of right now. So in other words, we got them from a 6-figure brand to a multi-7-figure business in the span of 12 months, primarily using advertising platforms like Meta, where most of our ad spend was, Google second, TikTok third. Our TikTok and Meta structure, I talked about it today about how we create those ads, how we come up with those ad creatives, which allowed us to make 183 concepts in the last year and 100 more variations of these concepts at a 30% hit rate. So 1 out of 3 of our creatives becomes winning ads that are scalable following our fundamental analysis process. We've also worked with these clients to optimize, again, offer just website. We did a landing page for them with Shopify health score, very important metric for you to help scale your business. So all in all, this is what led to this success story. So if you made it this far in this video and you want to work with a paid ads partner like us at paidadvertising.com, click the link down below to book in a call with myself and the team at PA so that we can work with you either on Meta, Google, and or TikTok with your brand. And if you're not yet at a point where it makes sense for you to work with an agency, or perhaps you just want some consulting, you want me to come into your business, help you one-on-one and help you review your ads, create new ads, perhaps help you improve your website, offer, business, so on and so forth, check out a second link in the description down below and join our one-on-one consulting program. So on that note, check out other videos on the channel for some more useful marketing tips, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.